Welcome to the Dr. John Char Holistic Health Show. Today we're going to be talking about a 35-year dream that I had. It's called the Holistic Wellness Center in Hawaii. Now, you know, the public's been mired in a tradition of conventional medicine that uses drugs, non-invasive therapy such as surgery, radiation, and chemotherapy, without any other options for health delivery. And health has risen to such an alarming rate that many families are finding it difficult to afford. The benefits derived from these health programs are getting more restrictive as a cost to run them become greater. Now, 17 years ago, I owned a medical dental software company. And we only dreamed of what we could have done, like voice activation, internet communication, things like that, which is the norm today. And so we dreamed and we dared to have a holistic center in Hawaii. But at that time, the technology wasn't up to speed. Today, everything that we ever dreamt of, everything that we wish we could have, is now in operation. Now it's done. It's here. So what we're going to do is we're going to discuss this, the philosophy and the concepts. Because if we can do that, there's going to be a tremendous asset to the state of Hawaii. For years, health providers have tried to build wellness centers in Hawaii with limited success. Some of the downfalls were there was a complete lacking of understanding on the philosophical integration of Eastern and Western and European medicine, and how these multidisciplines should be used cohesively in assessing the cause of illnesses and its subsequent treatments. Now, we've been doing this for almost 40 years. And as a matter of fact, 5 years ago, I decided to retire from holistic dentistry after 47 years of practice. Because now, when I saw what was happening in terms of biotechnology, we now, instead of having a pipe dream of having this modern technology be able to assess the patient and then find the underlying causes, was now here. We could do that. And so I started doing the last 7 years intensive research in using all the information that I've gathered over 40 years of study and research, and was able to put it in a computer. So what we did was we found there was many types of equipment out there that claimed that it could do assessments and different kinds of diagnosis and so forth. Now let me explain about this. Diagnosis is usually done by your doctor, your traditional doctor, because he uses lab tests, he uses the different means of his knowledge base, what he's learned, and also your history, medical history, and he makes a diagnosis. But how many have you have gone to your doctors and found out that within 7 minutes, that's the national statistics, that you have been able to been treated, diagnosed accurately and treated for your ailments that you came in? Well, now we have a computer-based called an assessment program where it monitors you. You can monitor the drugs you're taking to see if there's any side effects. You can monitor any types of therapy you're having and seeing what the status is, even before it develops into a crisis medicine, which is the disease state. And in crisis medicine today, that's what traditionally what we treat, because they use blood tests, urine tests, saliva tests, and you usually have to have the pathology, and then you can find it on the traditional lab tests. But with the event or the emergence of computers and especially in called the biotechnology field, you've been able to use computers to assess the patient. And the diagnosis is done by only physicians, traditional medicine. So now we call that assessments, and we can access and monitor in the event of oncoming disorders and disease or illnesses before it even manifests itself into a pathology or disease state. So these computers now, it's so amazing that you can actually see on real time on the computer your status. And it's called real time, means that you don't have to send out for a lab test, but you still need the lab test to verify what it is. So we're not saying that you should go not see your doctor. We're saying basically you can work in conjunction with the doctor, like supporting lab tests, to be able to find out what the underlying cause of your ailments are. Okay. And this type of equipment that we have, and we have one of the few in the world that is FDA approved, not only in the United States, but in Europe, Japan, China, and Canada. One of the very few equipment that is FDA approved throughout the world. And this equipment is so non-invasive, it doesn't require any needles or drawing blood or urine. And what it does, it integrates the healing arts and philosophies and multiple disciplines in one type of assessment. So you can do this scan in the body, the total body, from the brain all the way down to your toes. You can assess the whole body in various systems, medical systems, and you can do that within 2 minutes, because the computer can now assess 50,000 transactions in 1 second. And you can even find allergens at a clip of 2 per second. So that's pretty fast, faster than the human mind can think. Okay. So after 47 years of practicing holistic dentistry, I decided to go more into research and development. And now we have an actual clinic that we can actually assess the body within 2 minutes, and then also have the doctors look at that if they prefer and see if they actually do have that problem. So you can find out underlying causes for your illnesses. Okay. And the beautiful part about it is it's objective, so it can be documented. And so we're trying to take as much as possible the guesswork. You still need the doctor to interpret it, or some lab technicians to interpret what the data comes out. So that's what the doctor makes his assessment. That's where the doctor uses that for his own diagnosis. Okay. And once you find that out, then what is the next step after you find the underlying causes? You must be able to formulate that into a consolidated, comprehensive assessment, and then come up with a strategic treatment plan. Once you be able to do the treatment plan, then it's pretty well set. Now, the next step is what kind of therapy you're going to be giving. Are you going to give invasive therapy, or are you going to back that up with multidiscipline? And multidiscipline can include alternative and complementary medicine, okay, and dentistry too. Because basically what you're looking at is to see if one of the types of assessment in, say, Oriental medicine also corresponds to the traditional medicine as well as the European type of medicine. So you're taking a multidiscipline of all types of philosophies and blending into one system. And that was a very difficult thing to do. That's why people say they're going to open a holistic clinic or they're going to open a wellness clinic. If you look at that, their structure or the way they have it set up is usually you have one specialist, like a massage therapist, in one room, Acupuncturist could be in another room, a massage therapist, which might be doing different types of techniques in another room, physical therapy in another room, and so forth. So what we are incorporating is learning all the different philosophies and putting into one system where one person can know the integrations of all the different types of approaches and be able to correlate that into a treatment system, a treatment modality, in a treatment. And so those treatments basically can be a combination of the spiritual, the mental, the physical, and the emotional. So now, if you only did lab tests, and we'll always ask you, if you did a lab test, where does it fall in these 4 levels of wellness? Is it just physical, or is it mental, is it emotional, or is it spiritual? And if you only did one phase of that, then you're incomplete according to the holistic principle. So it's completely, it's not, it has a little variations because with the, say, the traditional approach. Because the traditional approach, you find a symptom, you base the things on symptom, and you match it up with a drug or therapy. But when you say, I'm going to a naturopath or someone like that, if the naturopath just asks you only for the symptoms and give you a natural supplement, he is called natural organic. But none of them are holistic, because holistic covers 4 bases under one system. And that system must be compatible to each other. And it formulates a way of lifestyle. Okay. So now, going back, so once you do the assessments and it's computerized, then you find out what we call that a total comprehensive assessment of the underlying causes of what those symptoms could be. Then, from that point on, you come out with a strategic treatment plan. Now, the treatment plan can involve many different modalities. As I said, these modalities, you can blend them in with one, and it covers the different levels. This is sort of a repeat what I said. So if you had a wholeness wellness center, would you be able to incorporate all that under one roof? It's like a one-stop place. So let me explain to you what we're talking about, holistic wellness center. So, as I said, the clinic will involve many different facets of the assessment using mostly high-tech computer. It's no different than if you went to your hospital and they did a comprehensive test on you. Most of the things you come up with is EKG, EMG, and all these different kinds of testing equipment. And they're all run by computers, right? So this is the age of technology. And if you just did everything by hand, then basically you're going back to the Stone Age. So now once we address all these therapies and so forth, now we have to get a research and development unit. So that's part of the premise. And that they're going to constantly do research and comparison data and so forth to see what patterns come out with certain type of ailments. And does these patterns lead to a specific strategic therapy that you can do? And how does that, what is the success ratio? Is it in the 40s or 60s or 80s? We like to say that if we can do something and objectively document everything we do, then we can actually say this is a proven type of therapy with some success ratio. We like to keep the ratio, if possible, above 85%. Now that's a tall order, especially if somebody had some chronic illnesses that they've had for a long time, such as Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. Those, perhaps, you can make them comfortable, but you can't totally turn around because of too much tissue damages that you have, okay? But you can make them comfortable. But those approaching those areas, they're getting into the early stage of it, you can reverse it and document it, okay? So you want to involve the community. So you have these community involvements where you get local citizens participating. And what they would do is you get senior citizens coming in, and you would provide them like a community of teaching them how to sustain their lifestyle with a high quality of life. Okay. You would introduce them with a lower spirit to the healing arts, and not only to the local residents, but also to visitors. You would perform health care services to, say, for instance, hospice patients or long-term care patients. They come in there and be able to be help to get them into the transitions to the next world. And so smoother transition to the next world by removing the element of what's called abandonment, which is one of the biggest things that people in the rest home in the remaining part of their life feel. They feel abandoned. If you can get them into that state where you can relieve them of that, basically, then when they get into the next world, it'd be a nice transition. Okay. You would also welcome wellness tourism, where people will come to Hawaii and enjoy the culture. And those culture would include some of the holistic principles of healing. You would take them to different areas in the healing sites. Say, in Juan Milano Lighthouse, what would you do? On a bus, just for an example, on the bus going there, you might have the back row massage the shoulders of the people in front of them. And then vice versa when they come back, when people in the back exchange seats, and then the back row massages the shoulders of the front. Now, the tutorial will be given on the bus as they're driving, somebody directing them what to do. And as they get to the lighthouse, then people get off, then we teach them how to breathe, how to walk. Okay? Most people walk on the ball of their feet or flat-footed, then you teach them how to do the European style, walking heel to the ball. And then when they get to the site, they enjoy the scenery, things like that, and teach them some Chinese Qigong exercise. And they come back, as they headed back towards the base, which is the center, they might drop them off to a restaurant, ethnic restaurant, and go over the types of food that they eat and what foods are healthy and not so healthy, and be able to energize the food. All these things can be taught. And so you can do different healing sites, like for instance, going Haleakala and do meditation on the sunrise and sunset. Okay? So all these different modalities are part of a tourist package. And the big thing is that you are supplying people with training and help getting them to be healthy in a Hawaiian culture, and also you're providing people in Hawaii with needed jobs. Okay, so be a training. So it'll be a massive project. Okay, talking about getting our concept out to the world globally, we're talking about satellite clinics. It's possible now with computers. You're talking about Skype, you're talking about online where you can be talking to people. We can do that now, and we can have satellite clinics out over the world, and they can be actually being assessed with the equipment we have connected to our headquarters through computerization, and be able to assess them from afar. Or if they leave the center and go home after therapy, then they can actually follow up with some high-tech biotech equipment and be able to connect it to computer to our research development center and be able to follow up with the therapy. See, so the satellite clinics is now going to be a must. It's going to be transferring everything from Hawaii to all over the world. And we're going to establish Hawaii as the health mecca of the world. Why not Hawaii? We've got the best climate and everything. Why not? Why in the mountains? Why not the ocean? Because in the mountains we want to have some fresh air, and we have wind tunnels and things like that to generate the electricity, and there's all kind of tax credits and all these different things we can utilize with modern technology, and we can even get clean water. And the water would be not chlorine water, chlorinated water, but some water treated with hydrogen peroxide. That's been done now. Okay. So we want to also involve our youth. And the youth, we want to keep the youth here. So we pick the brightest students and we teach them 4 basic things, and they can formulate their own clubs in school with our mentors, and they can even train an internship in our center. We'll teach them how to overcome the number one fear in America, which is the fear of public speaking. Overcome that. We'll teach them how to overcome the fear of taking exams. We'll even teach them basically how to overcome anger and addictions. If you can accomplish those four, and they can spread it out to other people under supervised training, and people can get the effect from it, you'll change some of the culture or the habits in the community. And I think it'd be a better place for us to live. With these bright students, we can offer them internships, we can offer them residence, and even if we get the fundings, we can offer them a scholarship, with the hope that they will be coming back to Hawaii and continue their employment or their work in Hawaii, and they'll be the future leaders who will go out into the world and start and train other people in the satellite clinics. So we also have conventions that will draw people from all over the world for certifications. We have training. We're going to even have a school there, a certified school, and we have one already now that was willing to help us, and they're certified by the Department of Education. So we'll have a school that will be teaching people all over the world and have residency and the intern programs. We expect to have organic farms, okay? Organic farm, so we can actually support the restaurants there. We're going to have gourmet organic restaurants, but we like to teach also people who want to be in agriculture. I know they're starting one, they have one at Waianae, but we can have another one that we can teach people how to live and raise their vegetables and natural foods on the mountains, and then also feed that restaurant with the organic foliage and the organic vegetables and things. We also have we talked about natural health and beauty. That goes hand in hand with being holistic. So we'll have things like different techniques and therapy in beauty, facial beauty, body sculpturing, things like that, all natural. No knives, no drugs, okay? And that can be done, and we already have a plan for that. You know, getting rid of some of the wrinkles you have, okay? You will have a health spa. That's going to be important because you're going to teach people basically how to, and sculpture people, how to be looking better and feeling better. And so you also will have a physical therapy part that will help people get out of their injuries. We can help them with the injuries. We can help them with their recovery and so forth. And we'll deal with that emotional. Now, if you can find the causes for all kinds of injuries, you find the cause and they're physically mended, you can actually get rid of the pain pretty fast. And we do it all the time without drugs and needles. And so that health spa, like I said, can be expanded. We have a whole thing about how the health spa should be conducted. It's got to be different. And so if you look into that center and just visualize going up to the mountains, you won't see any building, okay? Or you see a building that's a beautiful estate, if you have to use one, but when you go in there, it's so glamorous and so natural with some waterfalls, and you have some foliage and all over the place, that it just looks so natural that you don't even think that's a house or a clinic. And people coming on the world to get therapy will live there. And eventually, we want people to live there, have a church there, have schools there, have training sites there, and also in the future, we're talking about a 10-year program now. In the future, we might have a mini resort for the people more affluent that can, with their therapy, they can actually support some of the out clinics and things on the other side of the hill, on the side of the hill. And so there's a big, massive project and a vision, and it can be possible. So already now we have a committee that we're meeting weekly and in the planning stage. And if you feel basically that you can lend something to us, please give me a call. Okay, you can see my number at the end of the session here. You see it on the acknowledgments. We're looking for 10 to 15 acres of land, and because we're going to need a large area. And we're going to be working with many, many people to get this done. Why? Because we want to, there's several reasons, okay? We want to have the Hawaii as the Mecca, or the Hawaii as the center in the world of the holistic clinic, unlike any place in the world. That's number one. Number two, we're going to bring revenue to the state of Hawaii. Three, we're going to provide jobs. Four, we're going to keep the youth here, the one with the talent and everything. We will keep the youth here, and we want everybody to be well known. I mean, we want to be well known over the world as coming to Hawaii to get wellness. Okay? So, anyhow, we're going to be talking about on our next show about your favorite topic, radiation. So, anyhow, once you go ahead and look at, dial into my show every first and third Wednesday of the month at 6 p.m. on Channel 52, and also at 10 a.m. every Thursday morning. And you see us with different new topics, and I bid you farewell. We'll see you on the next show.